What's going on there, everyone? I hope y'all have been having a wonderful weekend. It's been raining here in Virginia, so not that great. But good time to catch up on some news and a little bit of an update to a story I wrote, or I didn't write, but a story I spoke on Thanksgiving. Remember that reporter, Miss Kwong, that wrote that Trump article from Newsweek? Well, she got fired for it. But that's a step in the right direction. But there's a chain of command. Are these people going to be reprimanded for anything? Probably not. It's very interesting, you know. It's very interesting because you hear us on the right call the media the left-wing propaganda arm. Now, this journalist, well, let's go through the definition of propaganda here for a second. Propaganda. It's a noun. Number one, information, especially of a biased and misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Let's recall her story where she didn't actually report on facts. She reported on guessing, trying to make up the future. Yeah, because she doesn't like Trump or the Trump administration. I mean, she works for Newsweek. They're a left-wing news organization. Come on. But yeah, as you can see, what she was clearly putting out is clearly labeled as propaganda. But let's just get into the story, because I could rant about these journalists and their nonsense that they've been pumping out for years now. Reporter fired for fake news that Trump spent Thanksgiving tweeting, golfing, and more. Newsweek fired a reporter who wrote an article saying that the president would likely be tweeting, golfing on Thanksgiving after he made a surprise trip to Afghanistan. So you gotta love it when security around the president, it actually works. It actually worked that time. No one knew what he was doing. Even the press didn't know what was going on. That's rare in the Trump administration. Usually there's going to be someone leaking out something, but thank goodness they didn't, because Afghanistan's a very, very sketchy place. So, yeah. Jessica Kwong, a former Newsweek political reporter covering the Trump administration, wrote an article originally titled, "How Trump is Spending Thanksgiving, Tweeting, Golfing, and More." On Thursday, the article was published at 10:16 a.m., a few hours before surprise news broke that the president was actually in Afghanistan visiting troops. How did it feel to have all that egg on your face? Just wondering, because I've never done that. Is it nice? Did you, exfoliate and whatnot? The outlet fired Kwong after the mishap, a spokesperson told the Daily Caller News Foundation Friday evening. First off, from her firing, yes, I kind of feel bad for her, but not really. I feel bad because a person lost their job. But what she did was, in my first video, I talked about journalistic ethics and everything. Journalistic ethics. And she has none. And she's literally holding a little thing, a little plaque, "Excellence in Journalism." That's sad. That's sad. Newsweek investigated the failures that led to the publication of the inaccurate report, as the president spent Thanksgiving tweeting and golfing rather than visiting troops in Afghanistan. A statement read according to a Newsweek spokesperson. "The story has been corrected and a journalist responsible has been terminated. We will continue to review our process and, if required, take further action." Well, let's think. She's but one cog in the wheel over there. You got your editors, and I do believe, it wasn't an editor, it was someone told her to pre-write this story. I don't know who that was, I don't recall. But yeah, someone told her to pre-write this story, so it was already written, and it was just posted on Thanksgiving. Well, everyone in that chain of command should have some type of reprimand, because they're clearly they're pumping out propaganda to the people. This is why people don't trust the media. This is exactly why. How many times have we had these situations happen? Very rarely someone actually faces consequences. It's not clear if the editor who helped the article faced or will face any punishment. Reporters who have traveled with the president were allowed to break the news around 2 p.m., according to CNN. After Trump visited Afghanistan, Donald Trump Jr. tweeted calling out Newsweek for the article. The president retweeted his son. Trump had concealed his trip to many, even White House staff and military personnel who were at the Mar-a-Lago in Florida. That's pretty special. If he can, this is the most leaking administration, so the fact that they pulled this off is kind of a good sign. It means some of the leakers, he's actually been getting out of there. Where the president has spent past holiday season, reported. Kwong cited his past years there in her original article. The president and First Lady Melania Trump departed from Washington, D.C. for the holiday weekend at Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday afternoon, the original article read. He spent Thanksgiving Eve from mid-morning to mid-afternoon playing golf at his Trump International Golf Club. It was closed to the press, according to his public schedule. See, that's what they were going off of. They were going off the public schedule, his public itinerary that everyone can see. Yeah. You can't just go off those things, because things happen. Kwong deleted her original tweet following backlash on Twitter. She tweeted an update and noted that it was written before knowing about the president's surprise visit to Afghanistan. An honest mistake. Her updated tweet continued to receive backlash. Yeah, how are you going to write a preemptive news story? How do you... are you a fortune teller? I mean, you can't write preemptive news stories. Come on, man. That's just common sense. After the president tweeted, "I thought Newsweek was out of business," the outlet heavily edited and updated its article. Now the headline reads, "How did Trump spend Thanksgiving? Tweeting, golfing, and surprising U.S. troops in Afghanistan." Yeah. I'm so sick of these news companies, man. This story has been substantially updated and edited at 6:17 p.m. Eastern Time to reflect the president's surprise trip to Afghanistan. Additional reporting by James Crowley, the current article reads. It now has information regarding the president's surprise trip to the troops. Jessica Kwong did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Yeah, I don't think she is going to comment much on this because she was clearly wrong. She was clearly wrong. She was just one more mechanism in the machine of fake news and left-wing propaganda. That's why you're not going to hear nothing from her. She knows she screwed up. She went against everything she learned in her little journalism school. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, man. God, I'm not even a journalist. I would love to. I aspire one day to possibly be one. That would be great. At least an on-the-ground independent journalist. That's kind of a goal of mine. But who in their right mind would preemptively write an article calling it news? I mean, you guys, come on. This is pathetic, man. I mean, but this is what we get. This is what we've been dealing with. And every single time these situations happen, what does it do? It helps us on the right. It really does. And it makes the left-wing media mob look terrible. As usual, as if they haven't been looking bad for years now. As if they haven't hemorrhaged freaking views and all that for years now. These bigger political channels on YouTube absolutely crush the ratings of these news organizations and stuff like that. Even online websites can't compare to half the people on YouTube. I mean, come on. People aren't using this stuff, these sites, to find information anymore because it's too hard to weed through the BS to get to the actual facts. It's sad. It's sad. That's why I say read everything. Read everything. Read every website you can. If you're a leftist, don't just read leftist media, because they're gonna lie to you, and generally, from what I've seen, leftists will soak that up without actually questioning anything. And what I've seen with people on the right is, yes, they will go right-wing media heavy, but they will also look at stuff on the left to see what they're saying. And most of the time we can call them out on... I'll be liberal about it. 75% of their articles we can call them out on. But what can you do, man? It's just... This is journalism nowadays. It's journalism. They're just... Obviously it's journalism, because they're just churning out stories without... They're churning out future stories without it even happening yet. Come on. I'd love to hear your comments on this, whether you agree with me. Yes, she should have been fired, and I think there's some more people there that probably, in the chain of command of getting an article put out, possibly should be reprimanded in some way or another. Or whether you think, oh, she just made a mistake, a typical left-wing media pundit's mistake. She let her bias get to the best of her, which you're not supposed to do when you're doing journalism. But okay. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.